Hello, this is Barton Smock. I'm going to be reading today from my last two self-published works, "Untouched in the Capital of Soon" and "Blood to Bathe Us in Its Blue Past." Both works have multiple covers done by my sons Noah and Aiden Smock. "Untouched in the Capital of Soon" has 4. And "Blood to Bathe Us in Its Blue Past" has 3. If you're interested in purchasing or looking at them or finding out more, you can go to my blog at kingsoftrain.com, which is KINGSOFTRAIN.com. If you want to purchase them, I accept PayPal, Venmo, Cash App. Again, that information is on kingsoftrain.com. Both books are pay what you want. All my self-published books are pay what you want. If you have any questions, you can email me at bartonsmock@yahoo.com for free PDFs or review copies. I also think the PDFs are on gumroad.com. I don't always remember where I put all my stuff, but regardless. Today I was planning to read from both books. From "Untouched in the Capital of Soon", I was planning to read a series of poems, of city poems, CITY, entries, and then I was planning to read all of "Blood to Bathe Us in Its Blue Past." We might be here a while, but if you're here, you're here. Plan to read until either I get too drunk, laugh, cry, mispronounce something, or a bug lands on me, which would stop like everything. So anyway, all right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get started. I'm gonna be reading the city poems, city entries, from "Untouched in the Capital of Soon." So I'll just say the numbers. They're really short. So anyway, City 1. A darkness that studies late into the last thought of a white mouse. 2. A snow that reminds mirrors to breathe. 3. A creature too naked to lose track of time. 4. No laughing at God, how long can the infant go? 5. A short rain touching its shadow in a God just as real as a bird-hating seahorse. 6. No plastic in hell. 7. Fast-growing child of Eden, I don't think they were hiding from God. 8. An Ohio barber spends her whole day looking at icicles. 9. The children bathe together during what they call a thunder story. 10. Older than God, water believes it's never lost its shape. 11. Perhaps in this one there's a boy whispering over earbuds from a nearby ghost town that all sickness ever does is protect God. 12. Ask fossil, can snow dream? 13. God wasn't there when image called off its search. 14. A photo eats better than a mirror. 15. I don't imagine that I'll ever be as angry as every third wolf. 16. The detail that got away from death was almost perfect, but I should not have understood your poem. 17. In my last Ohio, I hear in a pawn shop heard Jesus say it belonged to my mother. 18. Almost. The color of a distracted blue condom. 19. Time. An exit wound that God closes with our need to miss a creator. 20. Death still thinks my son is fast. 21. Future is the part of the snake the astronauts eat last. 22. Sometimes there's no city because everyone is alive. 23. I can almost not hear a toothache tell a truck driver that squirrels get that way praying over roadkill. 24. An angel moving itself in the mouth of a ghost while in the back of a sea turtle. 25. pain as proof the sun is small. 26. A boat that has two gods. 27. Here you will sleep like a gun on its dying password. 28. Touch is everywhere, a stranded know-it-all. 29. What's the longest we've gone? Being pictured by nothing. 30. God didn't think we'd create sleep. 31. Click while naked on this link that later the forgetting is small. City 32. Oh, I said city before that one. Cool. 32. Sleep cries itself to death. I wrote a poem similar to the poem below. You love another. 33. Bagging the bright mouse in the dear faith of my youth. 34. Tooth decay carried by God over the capital of after. 35. All secrecy genetic, proof is our last ghost. 36. A running shower that preys impossibly on the body of our lowest sibling for the return of a bomb maker's homesick drone. 37. An angel burned for soundproofing crows. 38. On TV, a lunchbox designed by my ghost sells so well that a mom. 39. My copy of God's longing, when was it sent? 40. The dream on its deathbed sees a film on emptiness. 41. Animals pretend to live here, but don't eat much. 42. Dogs, I'd say, for their panicked longing and cricket faith. 43. In which my left hand, known for my left hand, cannot kill a spider in a haunted barn that another barn builds. 44. Keeping the baby despite its perfection. 45. If I die at the end of this book, I'm already dead. 46. A paper airplane on fire in a helpless mirror. 47. Skip. 48. Nothing in a rabbit remembers Void's birthday. 49. I can't sleep any slower, but heard you anyway, telling in bare time, nowhere's middle of our brush with birthmark. 50. We picked flowers and the elevator stopped. 51. Cool. 51. Some days see us twice. 52. I could have been so young. 53. It took 3 zeros to invent loss. All 3 had to think of nothing, for I don't know how long. This last guess. 54. The sing-song mothers in country unison, while dipping a baby sock into a cup of mouthwash, reverse in their sons' alongness. The air I had for something new killed itself in a balloon. 55. Sounds exiled to the flattening of a father's tinfoil hat and the astronauts our gods pinched so that we could leave the dream. 56. Land has some people here. City 57 or 58. A puppeteer rubbing her hands over a book of spells for the untouched. A shy thief whose items change shape. 59. Practice forgetting. 60. How to starve a microscope in God's museum. 61. One dollhouse for another, the noises leave. I keep the same double life. Dog's paw, child's knee, the rifle's tilted field. 62. Match the ghost to its egg. When did I like my children? 63. In the keeplessness or in the boat. 64. How is it we know that the subway wanted to be there? 65. Soft teeth and that thing your son can do with his shoulder? 66. A drawer left open in an office is all we need. The cult of lost fingers. 67. Dying, touch will ask to attend the hand's silent film debut. 68. I thought reading would make me attractive to God. I ate slowly, like blood, like time, and our ablest newborns. I wanted the thing that was not the thing. Poems in quiet animals, an exodus of unmoved pairings, the corpse of a cricket, my cricket mind. 69. Crow with seashell. City 70 or 71. The short past of my body in the small of yours. A baby chewing on its hand in a pile of leaves. City 72 and 73. The boy has one mouse, all named Cigarette. City 74. In its shadow grief, the window in the open mirror. There's a bug. All right. 75. Rabbit, microscope, flower. In that order. 76. Our waiting and our leaving, the moment they meet. 77. Occasionally the odd ghost that worships blood and glue. 78. I can't always find the year I believed in God. 79. Instead, something joins the body, and two places die. 80. How quietly they eat this far, even from the birdwatcher's strangled sun. 81. I forget to eat and God says I am swimming. 82. The sleep I do in my sleep, I can't carry this. 83. My son's wrist was a flower but vanished. 84. City of my grandmother, grandfather, aunt. City of my human years, dog. Death has never known what it's looking for. Believes it will remember. 85. Your body won't change if in your dream there are many people. 86. Hand, bar of soap. Some fish are never hungry. 87. Even God's children get their death from books. 88. Your car long gone, you hear from your father about a city that has one raccoon, no cinema. 89. Less recently, home of the longest newborn. 90. Band names include Win-Loss, Child Groom, and City 89. 91. An ambulance from Dog Catcher's Dream puts the hurt on a flickering cornfield. I'm going to do that one over. 91. An ambulance from Dog Catcher's Dream puts the hurt on a flickering cornfield. Past small pockets of box-cutting amnesiacs go the bicycle legs of the non-born. Without hell, our cellar is a mirror collecting all that thunder can hear. Never done, I saw yesterday what a swimmer looks like, so close to uncovering God's one-eared suicide, and made a ghost out of anything except a ghost. 92. Though up and down the sun's arm, I move with my fingertip that phantom dime, touch is not set free. 93. Yesterday only exists if everyone believes it at the same time. 94. Not until you finish eating what's outlived you. 95. This is as far as I go. My look-alike owns nothing. 96. I still don't know whose memory resurrection erases, or if death misses God all the time. 97. Two birds lost by the same mother enter my childhood. 98. I only share with you when we're not alike. 99. Time always surprises the dead. $100. In the uncounted lamb of my boy's gray voice, stillness is the hair of silence. For every third wrist, an ant's shadow sings to a worried bomb. I am always right. God changes the size of the things we try to save. 101. Your describable obsession with Father's handstand, the syllable of your lost knee, and the roadkill your dog put to sleep. 102. Angels by footsteps with pictures of the poor. 103. Your mother enters God in the ghost you painted for death. 104. The past changes only what was. 105. Erased sex tapes and moon landings is Ohio, even in Ohio. 106. In Ohio, I was the only hole my mouth had. 107. I think there's another way into the city. For example, when you lost your broken hand and had to use the movie camera of our fog-eating infant. Parents of the sick get no sleep. I died designing a bathtub for God. It's not true, but it keeps people from leaving. City 108, now and the future of City 109. Your form-obsessed form curated by a dieting emptiness and the bloodless image of a stick man using my head as a pillow. 110. Ask any widow about the letter N. 111. In the farness of this room, is there a pair of handcuffs hiding from a wheelchair? 112. Two small boys forget to jump out of a cake. Some stories just say city. Not anymore, but this movie was once very good at being about God's future. 113. After the collapse of our competing factories of sleep, we don't, as written, switch bodies. Surprisingly, it doesn't take long to eat a god. I want to tell you I am here, untouched, in the capital of soon. 114. A single tail left in an infant's belly. Ohio loses every job. 115. Ballet or the lost mind of a snowstorm. 116. Oh, how gone it is, the ghost joy of lighting a mother's cigarette in a dream that gets my mouth wrong. 117. Death maybe saw Jesus as a way out of watching God kill. 118. God comes to me in a God. Sleep is a footstep worshipped by a mother's ear. The baby is asking for more time. I don't know what to add. Poor mom, it's not a trick. 119. Not until there's a City 120 will you have the dream that gives death its memory back. I wouldn't describe it as easy. We sent the wrong hand to study your hand. We had a grandfather walk in place before we knew he had a dog, and all we could do with his wife was watch. Rain wrote a spaceless poem. If it was like taking a toy phone from an angel, we never heard. $121. My memory isn't what it will be. Pervertivoid, avid sad, hand before. She wants a flower, my son is dead. 122. We get our thunder from Snow's dream. A baby invents kneeling with a fork and an outlet. The wind is slowly eaten by what? 123. There's not much to know, really. The puppeteer sleeps all day, and the fisherman all night. Hide your hair in your mouth. 124. Pop-up books about sleep. The rabbit water ocean. No one is the one keeping God alive. 125. The loneliness they hide in window cleaner. The horse, the puppy, the two churches of thought on thirst. You with your son and maybe a meal. no forks, no spoon, each past, soon a future he's not in. 126. I can't be around people who know how to swim. It's not I know the best way to start a city. God wants to be alive all the time. Everything in my body is recent. 127. We had the child to get the child's attention. We vanished then or grew slower than eyesight. When it snows almost long enough to kill the unfinished ghost of a rare giant. Still, there is a place in hell for every jump scare. Darkness ate me first, says the rock. $128. In a pool made mostly of where a pool should be, we take turns pretending underwater to know how long it took to create time. A baby outside of its mother screams God into a bird forgetting to breathe. Our sisters think they can't sleep. 129. In this game, you've to touch the bottom of a pool and make air before anyone you know is killed. It is accepted during play that the impatient have been verified by God. Pets are allowed but must have left some amount of water in the cupped hands of one who's been recently alone in a yearless city. Death that occurs from other types of dying will be photographed by the mothers who've yet to kneel before the earliest walker. Scoring is determined by the length of the game. If every mother present has knelt, the deaths can be ignored. 130. One parent is grief and one is touch. Years pass without a thunderstorm being put to sleep. A son moves into his body to bathe. He scratches his own arm and tries to look at his eyes. His thumbs hurt, and we tell him a picture has just been snapped inside the closest museum of the suddenly sick. Because there is only a second time for everything, I thought you knew we were here. Touch his teaching hand the history of again. It's grief's turn to be grief. 131. Reincarnation came close, but God has yet to experience loss. This is where human pain was born. If there is a tree made from the nights I look my children awake, eat what you want. Hide anywhere. We only see you when you swim. 132. A snake looks a thing stuck with ending its life. There are no snakes here, but you can lose your appetite in the wind. Also, sleep stops breathing. Sorry. 133. I am less than a mile old when I have all the time in the world to miss nothing. 134. Is mom movie rain or real snow? 135. Of a ghost that can dream, I can only dream. Eyesight was God's weakest bone. 136. A bite mark goes from one sea thing to another. Someone hates your body, and a toothache makes one limp. 137. Spotless you in the dream you'll use to shorten your later dreams. Loneliness as it describes each thing in one word. Boy whose skin is never older than his first food memory. No tools in the angel's cave. 138. There are days nothing happens to Adam, and there are days nothing happens to Eve. It doesn't take long to lose interest in the last thing known to have used God as bait. Touch is the bird of nowhere. The outside can't survive outside. 139. After a star, it's wrong to name a rabbit. The mouth to hide from God invents the kiss. 140. One counts underwater to be a certain number. No, that one right. 140. One counts underwater to a certain number. Color forgets. All right. 140. One counts underwater to a certain number. Colors forget blue. 141. The angel of eye level loses a crucifix. Attraction has no children. A pair is remembered in half. Music knows only the locksmith's lullaby of deep looking. I love about this place the abandoned weather. 142. Leave pain in its blank heaven. Let touch undress taste. Change dreams mid God. So I'm getting a little drunk and there are bugs, but I'm gonna power through. 143. A fish, they'll say, made of sea lightning, as if it's not all sea lightning. Here, if you see a bowl outside, go to it and stay. 144. Because you wanted to know what ghosts do about their missing. 145. In the elevator of the nightly named Bruce Hotel, your mother points to her stomach and says, to you, that your eyes will never kiss. 146. Forehead to forehead, the sick children blur the coin of labor's voided palm. 147. The end of silence met with 148. Jesus on the cross, mother in a tree, hair keeps God awake. 149. I smoke in one place on my body, nose 3 on yours. All right, those were the city poems from Untouched in the Capital of Soon. Second book is Blood to Bathe Us in its blue past. Planning to read the entire collection, but we might not get there, guys. I don't know. Again, my son Noah Smock did these covers. Well, and my son Aiden Smock did this one. Oh man. All right, let's just do it. Let's just go. So there are sections in this book. I had a like the city series that I had in Untouched in the Capital of Soon. I have a shorter series of poems, country entries, in this one. The city poems were basically all COVID and Trump years, and the country poems are COVID and Biden years. Do with that what you will. There aren't as many country poems, but I'm reading this entire collection, so we're at like 30 minutes right now. So if you're still here, that's awesome. All right. Country 1. Death is the only absence that absence honors. Not seeing creatures up close is home. Country 2. No one prayed here, nor left here to pray. Hurry, math. The small gods, they lower the footprint. 3. Blue from making thin air, we could almost see the snowball in your mother's stomach. I think the city poems were much better, honestly. Country 4. A tooth taken by a tooth, the night on one knee, a child as friendless as a wrist. Country 5. A bunch of insomniacs are making short films about nosebleeds. To them I am sometimes a sound effect, handstand or hand sand. I am too young to be watched. I don't have wrists, and I can't take the bath your body took. Kiss loss. Kiss loss where? 6. Lightning as it thirsts for a stray glacier's rib, the unsought quiet of a surgeon's body, things after they happen in the sun of my disgrief. 7. 2 mirrors praying over the glass in our food, death continuing to believe I know where God is, the pill that remembers your one thought, the choir of a lass. 8. I made a list once of all the weapons I wanted you to try, and then, while barefoot, I was told that God would never walk and that my birthmark was a hole I'd never see. Here are 2 poems about nostalgia. Regret regrets not using its alias. This is the wrong tadpole's past. 9. 2 poems about his gun. You can like your body, but only if we can see it all at once. Sleep is the new sleep. 10. 100 poems about time travel. The child young enough to be on my hip is waving to the nobody in the microwave. The dead have a past, but it's empty. That was nice. The sweat right there. Cool. 11. We argue agonology in the exploded ghost reef of God. Repairs winter's last machine. 12. We throw seashells into a cornfield. There are children we want back. 13. A glove passed from baby to baby, or a light switch left for nearby angels. A hand in the middle of being a hand. 14. An orange baseball gives up in a white field. Birth and death no longer miss each other. A broken branch from my dog's sleep is a big deal and the saddest thing. 15. We put the baby in the house and went inside. Well, this might be it. Sorry. Country 15. We put the baby in the house and went outside. I wish I could be more specific. The baby was alone. It wasn't a house you could see from another baby. From the road, I mean. 16. Again, the hands know which is newer. A flame yawns your hairbrush still. The toothache on the top of my head wants its own toothache. For hours, the child, soft like an exit. 17. A ghost with a nosebleed left by God to milk away. 18. We've the same 18. We've the same last thought. Death makes nothing. 19. Hunger cuts its own hair, but can't save time. There's another section of this book. All these entries are under the title Ghostalgia. Okay. Ghostalgia 1. I don't know how to tell you that God comes back for everything but the mouth, or that sleep was the last breathing machine to break our first. Meaning loses word. Buzz rootless in the child's bee. 2. A drop of blood lands in an eye-sized field. Imagine waking up to cry. Hide the hidden ant of your son's loneliness. I don't remember what number I'm on, so I'm just going to say Ghostalgia again. So Ghostalgia. Actually, in between, I'll just pause. So, I mean, you're probably not here anyway. So, in the doll's only dream, the child cuts God underwater. I wasn't ugly, but you didn't see me. Return gives its hair to absence. An elevator is lost by an angel. It's probably a good idea to drink some more. See how this goes. A pup expires with a yip in a ransacked store. You say we are behind the snowy TV screen we made into a blanket for a dying robot. You can have me from the waist up. In Ohio, I am not a girl chewing the corner of a baseball card, but I am her brother researching the toy exile of lightning storms. Our domestic inquiries include the sex of the first person in hell, the number of animals giving birth in the field that burned emptiness, And if Adam was Eve's great lie, the more I think of time travel, the more it can do. Memory scares itself twice or once. You've away with squirrels and pain. A train named after another train changes fields. Mirrors forget that God can't move. God slips in and out of the bomb before it lands. Snow and rain meet once, not yet. A moon-owned payphone, the leaf of my pain, a pharmacy trying to move a tornado, bad lighting, cigarettes, grass. It's not personal. You are a certain way and look for love. Cricket learns of sleep. Jesus wanting there to be a God. I can't tell if my stories start in the middle or if they're just without a beginning. The last time I heard my grandmother sing, I was at rest in a boy pretending to sleep. Footprint, footstep, the hands love both. The crawling, the baby, what if it was never me? What if it was my memory of being near the thing that's coming? And my kids can't sleep. If a paint can is open and you only talk to me when I'm dying. In the dream that my brother calls his haircut dream, I have a tail I'm not allowed to touch. I tell him no haircut has ever taken this long. I tell him that God wanted more kids. I'm trying to make him laugh or pray. Far mice are eating the noise from your wrist. I am small, asking if I can bring some snow with me into the bathtub, and someone starts to say no, but because we're outside, nothing gets finished. And later to my mom, someone explains how frostbite has been using our handwriting for suicide notes, and pain in its unfound egg is drawing its take on pain. My neighbor on one side has a pop gun and my neighbor on the other a candy cigarette. Both are on me to get a pull as if we've seen the last of any mother's blue-headed angel. Like most houses, our houses are made of a God listening for the toothpick that sings to a crack from inside a doll. Doll, I am not surprised to be with you in the same bathtub where sleep stays to remind death of its failed audition. I don't tell you about my kids. Say poor, and I'll say my arsonist son didn't tell a single flash. Oh my God, dude. Say poor, and I'll say my arsonist son didn't sell a single flashlight. Touch is a debt touch owes itself. A warm boat left on the erasable sea. By the time darkness touches every map, the baby is useless. God, a mistake mistaken for a childhood's double life. If there is a horse, there is a horse, thinking only of itself, yet also on the kindness of a past horse. Sight cooks my eye in a voided spoon. Eyesight in the dream is a small cloth on a decent doll, but the dress code isn't clear. I will miss your hair with mine. We don't need to talk. Someone remind longing to mourn. I've never been in a dream like this where I can see all my kids at once. It could mean nothing. A thumbtack I've had longer than a paperclip, the sleep-getting guard of God's two amnesias, dying. I'm not sure what you want. The animals I name in no time. I don't remember the whole poem. Sister announcing in the shower how she's taking the thunderstorm. Another sister asking is silence a fruit. Me saying no. The dark, a tiny whale fooled by emptiness. The headless doctor whose memory of every birth is the same. The child whose skin fools God but not water. Fire in fire's preferred shape. The hour-long crow. The birds living bird to bird. Death here and there in the later stages of disappearance. An almost father weeping on a movie set left to him by God. Weeping perhaps a poverty too far. Ah, they don't go away. Hungers that report to no one. The hole, God says, is coming isn't. I still cannot sleep if I think someone can see my mouth. Earlier, a tunnel was using a tunnel to unmiss abstraction. Take the hands out of your poems. Alright, so this next section in the book is called Partials. Again, they all have the same title, so I'm just going to pause in between each one. I feel like I'm a really lazy writer here. So partials, 1. I wonder, does death worry about my son? Like, does death ever grip the doorknob that hurt a sound? God and time mark differently the length of death's dream. My youngest son, my sickest, falls asleep on his mother, then on me, then again on his mother. I will always need to carry him to someone who can carry him. God can't read grief's handwriting. This is where most of us come in. We tell the kids they're dying because one of them is. I hope it helps. Find a hole in 3 of your father's shadows. Lose the rabbit. I was touching people with other people and my movies were getting made. Pain drank my sons away. I remember my daughter asking God, what's the hardest animal to be? Her drawings got better and then worse. We knew what to do but did nothing. You haven't seen anything until you've seen an angel reenact running out of ghost blood. Aliens grieve in dog years. What do you think? I think I go too far. So it's like, I got the local and then whatever. All right. Next one, partials. I thought learning would free me from feelings of terror. In photos of the infant me, photos are a thing of the past. It's far too easy to like a child. Sister's eggshell rabbits, the hand I don't use anymore, brother's angel emptying its stomach for the ghost of an undiscovered fish, thunderstorm's best invisible cemetery. Grief is that sibling who's tired all the time but still moves a pill from friend to friend while believing that if you watch a movie before anyone else, then the sex scenes are real. Our version of musical chairs has us adding a chair. I don't get hungry. No one wins the baby. Memory only eats in front of God. Mothers and daughters smoke together from tornado watch to warning, trying to pick up on voice changes in a neighbor's fish, and in doing so make of each cigarette a ghost kite that leaves me longing to miss a more specific balloon. There aren't enough of us. Every suicide surprises loss. Each finger believes it knows how many times the hand has been troubled. Image unseen, angel takes every bone. Bread hides itself in bread, becomes paper in the pilot's stomach. A boy whose mother is cleaning a house in the dark is saying, very near to my son, that our hands are the same age. No one is being kissed. A blank drink makes something of my mouth, but it's too late. You can't take prayer with you. Words get named. Until recently, touch believed in my eyesight's past life. Time needs loss, and loss the jailer's missing nudes. A stone starts over. Birth, our briefest talent, has come to switch the wrong bodies. Keep the word. Start that one over. Birth, our briefest talent, has come to switch the wrong bodies. Keep the world like a fish that hasn't surprised a bird. I have little, I have only, my secret death and its unled lord. So that was the end of the partials section. This next section is called Magic or Poverty. Magic or poverty? A cicada from a paper cup. In each drive-through, a delicate absence. Eat, I guess, like you'll go missing. Language ruins language. magic, or poverty. Sleep is the bruise my blood won't eat. Raindrop in bathwater, the desperate brain of a groundhog, the moth corrections, the actual age of your weapon when left on a bus, is touch nowhere's oldest witness, magic or poverty. Poverty, a handprint, starts in the shoulder of a ghost. I could not kill, not after seeing the ice-covered red dog by the barn. Not magic, we call it God, the waiting that God does. The last section are just some new and selected poems. I think we're gonna get through it. We're like at 45 minutes, so might as well keep going. So, all right. So I'll just say the title. These are not sections. These are actually titled poems. So Mothermost. The secret that sleep tells death about breathing. Deathmost. Blood is a star being made too quickly. There were pictures only I could see. Lastmost. Three giants obsessed with face-sized Halloween masks die in their sleep after my brother breaks his nose and enters what will come to call his bird beak years, which will include a dream that changes what you watch. Fathermost. God will find God's bones in an other past. Cry small. And that might be a sign to stop there. Sobermost. In the end, everyone was a witness. It happened, but only to God. Oh man, there's bugs flying all around here in my drink, so you don't care if I stop a moment. We ain't got much more. I might just read a couple more. Recent most. We kiss because we don't know whose eyes got here first. I walk one hand until it limps and the other until it doesn't. Babies pray all the time. I move my son often and pretend the bath doesn't give him away. Each movie is longer than God. Now most. We all work very hard to give God a future. You lucky you get as many a black eye as the number of times one of yours loses a baseball in the sun. Here's what I'll say about that boat. That boat never did get its silence back. My bet is you've forgotten more spiders than you've seen. Naming is the leading killer of the animal that's with you when you die. About sacrifice, angels were the last to have hands and the first to tally every broken bird-like rule. Voice most. Abused in dreams on outside birthdays. End most. Needles hiding from a blank swan. The plastic razors of a prop angel. No one to cry ghost. The fingernail as grief's only idea. Forget, in that order. Say most. No one in the elevator when it dies. By X-ray, I mean many stars will find my son. Bliss most. Snow in the knee, in normal church, pain, dog in helicopter pain, a timestamp, there's nothing more God. Wow, dude, fuck, man. Withermost. Each place I go is from Ohio. Mirror softens mirror. A leatherback sea turtle drops its angel. I don't think art is working. Want most. The flat curiosity of our girlhood's insects. Age-appropriate infants with no self-esteem. The gray math of being clothed. The pink of being dressed. Again, the wrong person forgetting my death. blank most. Why in Ohio is it still this thing you said? A leaf is in pain, a footprint isn't. Halt most. The babies came out silent. Our talk was over. It might still be meal 2 or 3. Meal 1, the slow crying of having had a toothache on the moon. Westmost. I started to care about form. Sleep could not sleep. One brother turned more blue than the other. I drank myself into 3 gods, but didn't ask. It was late, and then it was now. Parentmost. An oven too small to be left on, an ear that makes an animal-sized hiccup, a bidding war started by God for the children of our unprotected hypnosis, a miniature loneliness, an error-free nothing. Note most. Soon is a baby studied by the scholars of now Note most. Soon is a baby studied by the scholars of now who in their prime predict that foresight will found the Church of Loss on the next baby born to know that I woke up in the tree again while the house itself let it run once more the crucifixion on TV. Hypnosis for clumsy gods. In Ohio, a blinking fog no older than a bandaged deer leaves in a hospital a hole might the angel need previously more than the nothing it learns at a spelling bee that never ends. When I'm unsure about something, I read fast. When I think it's not very good, I read it fast, so it seems deep. Not really, but kind of. So, bodymost. In a game of telephone, they've trapped a starstruck loneliness. My amen and your amen need the same light. Switch. Our sixth son knows we can't be from the future. Snowmost. Death introduces again its slow teacher. Reading a poem fixes only the poem. The past runs on a loop. Love out of nowhere windows. Halfmost. In the hips there is a knowing that water is made of patience. I am still creating a God that's hard to look at. Driftmost. So on another, this has nothing to do with this poem at all. I just remembered, it reminded me. It didn't remind me of anything. So I just wanted to tell y'all that if you like music, like you got to check out this band Drift Mouth. It's one word. It's D-R-I-F-T, Drift Mouth. It's 2 words. Anyway, they're a really good band. You should check them out. I know the lead singer, Lou Poster. Amazing dude. They're an amazing band. Their new album, or their most recent album, is Love Bridges Burning. Anyway, a couple other albums were like my COVID soundtrack. Like, they're the only albums I listened to. I didn't go out a lot, so that was the CD that was in my car, and like got me through a lot of shit. But their newest one is Love Bridges Burning, and it's getting me through a lot of shit now too. Drift Mouth. Check out the band. Anyway, this poem's called Drift Most. Has nothing to do with the band at all. I probably should have cut this off about 10 minutes ago, but regardless, Drift Most. Illusion is hallucination's lost journal, and mirror is its found. Look, the water will always want to be your hair. Put your father on a boat that's asleep. Leftmost. The sleepy fictions of any longing, my distance keeping yours, the scar in Spoon's dream. 2 poems about God. I keep seeing the same beautiful things. Death and the fatherhood in Lastly, Ohio. I don't want to be from the future anymore. I'm not ready. Part poem. Ghost has aged. Death is homesick. Touch pretends its lost eye is lost. These next sections are called response poems written in no city. I had a poet friend, amazing poet, Benjamin Padziani. Not quite sure if I pronounced that correctly. Regardless, last name is Niespodziany. First name Benjamin. You should definitely check out his work, his poems. Anyway, he had written some response poems to my city poems. I should have cut this off like 10 minutes ago, but regardless, these are response poems to his response poems. My siblings' white noise machine reminds angels that they've no young. There are 3 light switches per rooster. They are the overlooked church of the eel, frog's empty life. God sees an image that's been moved by me. Everything being done is done outside of a horse. Your mother's hearing loss keeps my voice from changing. Lightning dreams itself into a cat thrown from a moving car. A lit match enters a flashlight. Dear Ohio, the ocean is worried about a trapdoor. Also about the ocean, I want you to think about the number of limbs remembered by a bite mark. And then our little Satan using the same bowl for his food that he does for his water. Body language being kept alive in a ghost town. Wynn's missing child can't get sick. Lost sees its mother and its mother. Not all of us die. In hell, one forgets hell's naked birds. Empty says it has a twin. Far says nothing. Part and poem. Death pulls out its unreal hair. Hand is a color. Touch has a postcard for the painter who sees your breath. Take a little. So glad I didn't do this on live. I can edit this shit out or leave it in. Regardless, I don't. It's up to me. It's actually my brother's copy of this book, and I just spilled some liquor on it, so cool. My brothers are the only ones that buy my books, except for a couple friends, by the way. And my parents, my mom. Fuck, this has gotten way out of hand here. Alright, where are we at? We're almost done. You're not here anyway, so I don't really care what happens after this. So 2 poems about sleep. The sea writing nonsense on God's back. 2 poems about design. Her guide hides pronouns in video games about touch. 2 poems about longhand and 1 for Ohio's nothingness. The rental history of that kid who killed himself, who loved the soonest animals of my siblings, whose girlfriend was named after a website, who joked that his girlfriend was named after a website, who got fired for watching porn but then had to wait because of the snow, that kid whose note wasn't cruel to God, whose note somehow made it to my mother and then to yours, and then our mothers did not dare pass but knew in secret the number of years that would between their dying. First poem about sleep. An unreal child, its masterless jaw, and invisible fast. First poem about design. Unheard window, infant's doorbell. I wanted to say one thing too. I saw a thing recently where people were talking about like poem voice and saying like poem and how academic and pretentious people are. And I just wanted to say that that's a bunch of bullshit and fuck everyone. Because like some people talk that way because they're fucking anxious and have anxiety, and like the only way they can present things is to speak as if they have something to say. And to rail against the academic as if like people that talk like that are somehow like, you know, not born on the streets or some bullshit like that. Like I didn't even go to college or anything like that, and I talk like that because I'm anxious and because I get nervous. I mean, I had to like, I've been working on this like all day and I already fucked it up, but like, it has nothing to do with being academic or pretentious. No one's more real or less real than I am. It's not like a competition, but everybody's always like talking about that bullshit and pronunciation and stuff. And it's like, dude, either read it or listen to it, but like, you can leave it. Like, you don't have it. Anyway, whatever, dude. Whatever. People always fight and imagine offenses, which I guess I just did, but anyway. First poem about design. Unheard window, infant's doorbell. Puzzles one can keep from God. A shadow puts his hand through a tent. Ice hides Ohio from hell. Coda. Thunderstorms reported missing by some verbose orphan. Model. The ugliness of horse corrected by deer. Partings. In a movie untouched by movies, a mother not known for any child is visited by a doll on leave from its scarecrow-loving scarecrow, no longer held by figure as a gift from the Department of Shape. The silence only there if you play it backward. Hairdryer, a son of empty pain. The gathering done by our ghostless constant. The prop ear, the slip-on wrists, the hand that moves to kiss a kiss in the eatery of starvation's now, the gathering done by our ghostless constant. Second poem about sleep. It keeps me up, the mirror in bear's dream, death and its troubled past, there will always be more to forget. Lost poems about loss. A crow becomes a star above a swimmer's toyless child, and not an eyed thing is looking at the sea. Each child orphans you differently. A bowl being taken from the paradise of my left hand, the second meal arriving at God's mouth, any word learning to shorten the life of the poem, bending with newborns a spoon. You live longer than the person using your loneliness. From Mark Lanigan. What would keep angels from comparing paper cuts, God and sleep, are actions I take? After Jaw. Also from Mark Lanigan. Every third angel in the shared dream of swimming with a nosebleed emerges with a temporary fact about God. To hear anything, one must first pack snow near a dying bear. I apologize. All my, like the last 4 years, all my heroes died. Grandparents, aunts, songwriters. 2 poems about wingspan. Afraid of the world, then afraid of the world again. Alive in a salted mirror, rain. Alive in a salted mirror, rain remembers my grandmother pulling me from the ocean. I live in a God that cannot touch a nerve. In the museum that loved cinema, the cartoon church bell of a father's war, boneless mountain, some baby of both a reformed cannibal and an uncalled bulimic, a bullet, the way a bull cries into me, a God to tell us when the missing vanish. Remote musics. I write in this tongue and pray in another. We sleep and are kissed by an ear in 3 beds, train, cow, frog. If you've seen one roach, you've seen them all. That's where they come from. Barn musics. Your father spelled into baiting hosannas cricket by a gaslit mouse. The bear, flyless wall, box of baby clothes in an empty dream. She musics, saddest when peeling an orange these days of sink and crib, the earth in parts, flat. Whether voice has bread or bird, we hear both, and a toothache can miss its shadow. Untitled. We bid in Ohio on a pack of condoms dropped by the invisible man. Birth approaches its black stoplight. In clothes that fit, I feel remembered. Easy. A ghost and an angel compare childhoods. We've all let our food get cold. Not many more. Ideations. With his mother's purse under his arm, the gatherer of knocked out teeth tracks to the entrance of a water park, the so-called last deer to imagine a rock empty. Honestly, this is going to be the last one, actually. So, a balloon in the Church of Touch. She reaches into the same hat for the rabbit he's made disappear. I sleep and the dark takes me for the bone, lightning straightens. By death, I mean nothing was beautiful for a very long time. That, and when did you know? Alright, so those were, we almost got through the entire of Blood to Bathe This in This Blue Past, but I can't, you know, death, God, birth, all that stuff, you know, that'll rock me every time once I start getting a little tipsy. But yeah, again, if you want to go to my website, blog at kingsoftrain.com. You know, I post all my writing online, so it's all free. So if you want the books, that's fine, but all my stuff is out there. All right. Yep. I think that's gonna be it. You ain't here anyway, so that's fine.